welcome to another Homebrew Wednesday. Don't actually have any homebrew in the flat at the moment, so I'm going to have to crack a shop bought beer open. I've got a Lambeth Walk by the Horns Brewery. It's a newish, I believe, another London brewery. Read up a little bit. It's a couple of young chaps who used to drink lager and whatnot, and then just decided to get into home brewing and set up their own brewery, as you do. This is a Lambeth Walk Dark Porter. They do a Bobby on the Wheat I had at the weekend, which is a nice wheat beer. I think there's Diamond Geezer and there's one other one, can't recall. So there's a hint of dark berries, but I can't say I'm getting that, but it's definitely got the coffee bean and cocoa. Not overly hoppy, but just right, nicely balanced. That's a lovely beer. I could drink a lot of that. And it's only 5% as well. Doesn't feel very heavy for what looks like what could be a heavy beer. Right. So going on from last night's tasting of Ben's raspberry beer, the Brewfam kit. Before the end of the night, I really couldn't finish the shop bought beer. The lager one did. My wife tasted very much of like a shandy top. Like it didn't really have much fruit in it at all. So the Innis and Gunn one wasn't really. I felt much fruit in it. You know, even worth considering saying that it had fruit in it. You couldn't really taste it. And the other Belgian one, the shop one, was too fruity. It was almost like it was too syrupy, too thick. And like a lot of fruit beers, you really do struggle to finish it. And I couldn't. Well, I did finish it, but only because of the fact that I paid for it. I hadn't paid for it. Probably would have put it down the sink. And Ben's one, well, that went pretty much quick. It wasn't there for very long. That was a great beer. Didn't feel very drunk at the end of the night, but I did kind of have a bit of a strange experience where I got up too quick off the sofa and ended up nearly passing out while going to the toilet, which weren't quite amusing, but anyway. What else? Right, back again. Excuse me if I miss anything out. The battery's gone. It's evident I need to get another battery, or at least a spare. It obviously don't last very long in this camera. Also this week, as Jonah said in his video, we met up at the weekend in a nice little pub near where he lives. Quite an old pub, one of Britain's 20 oldest pubs. Real strange looking pub, sort of like very crooked and that. It's got a really strange hallway that Jonah showed me that kind of narrows as you walk down it, kind of very kind of Willy Wonka, if you like. He also gave me some beers while I was there. I've got a sparkling ale to try. I've got the Strawberry Cider 2, the Revenge. I've got a Elderflower Wherry, which I'm really looking forward to because everyone's had a wherry, everyone's popped their home brewing cherry with a wherry. And also brought me on to the fact that I want to do a elderflower wine again. I did one last year and it turned out really well. The only thing was I never wrote the recipe down or got where I got it from, and the thing with the internet is there's hundreds of every recipe that you can think of out there, and the one that I did turned out great. So that's another note to anyone that you're starting home brewing: write everything down, no matter how big or small. In your book, I tend to write everything down, or I thought I did, because you never know. Even if you write something down and that brew turns out bad, you might look back in your notes and find out that was the reason for it, or you might have found a great recipe, and if you don't write it down, you'll never have the history or the notes to back it up when you want to replicate it. We've also got Chili Sizer of Doom. And some little urine pots. We've got Sizer and we've got Slow Gin. So cheers, Jonah. Oh, there's also one more beer which was only bottled on the Thursday of that week, which is conditioning somewhere, just to give it a bit more time. What else was I going to cover? Brain's gone now. Oh, also in Tesco again, they've got the beers for 4 for the price of 3. But while I was in there, they do have a cider. I spoke to Darren about this. I'm just going to get a picture of it. And it's called Niche. And I don't know if you'll be able to make the picture out from there. But that's what it looks like. And on the shelf, you probably can't make that out on the camera, the label does say £25. And it's only a 375ml bottle. And what it actually is a cider from Quebec, Canada. It's an apple ice wine. It says that in the fall, very ripe apples are picked and stored. At the end of December, once winter arrives, the fruit is pressed and the juice obtained is placed outside in intense January cold. During crystallization, the water separates from sugars by natural cryo concentration. After a few days of intense cold, blah 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 blah, the extracted must is placed in stainless steel tanks where it ferments. It's 11%, but it's only 375ml for £25. And you think Big CQ's done a very similar thing in his kitchen, so, you know, I don't know what makes that special, or who would actually buy it. I mean, I'd love to know what it tastes like, but I certainly wouldn't pay £25 for it. What else? I've tried my Muntons Black Pearl, just the standard bottle. They didn't add anything to. That's coming along quite nice. It needs a bit more carbonation, but it's quite a nice stout for what it is. I didn't add anything extra to it. I haven't tried any of the other beers yet, the chili beer and the wheaty type beer that I did. But I'm going to brew an extract wheat beer on Saturday. It's got a proper liquid yeast, and then once that's fermented down, then I save the yeast from that and use it in the lager kits that I've got and see if it improves them instead of using the standard ale yeast that you get with it. I'm sure there's something I forgot. Every time I think of doing a video like this, I think of 100 things to say, and when it comes to doing it, I end up forgetting everything, and especially when the battery's died, you come back and you forgot your. I'm still drinking the beer. I'm sure there was something else. Oh yeah, I've got my copper ordered. Someone's going to pick that up for me tomorrow from work, and then hopefully I'm going to wrap that around a corny coke at the weekend and get that sorted out. And also gives me a reason to bring the corny coke home to sort all the seals and all that lot out, so I can think about having it in the flat. And the thing I would like to try and get is a smaller CO2 bottle that I could keep in the flat. I've got this other solution that I said about in my previous video, but I would like a little tiny 2 kilo CO2 bottle. Which is most of the places you can get the bottle and they will refill it. They'll charge you a duty on it because the bottle has to be tested, I think, every 5 years or maybe more. But it's very hard to find somewhere where you can have your own bottle and get it filled with gas, which I'm pretty sure you can do in other countries. That would be ideal because you can order some nice sort of chromed up stainless steel bottles and that you've seen on the internet and that when people make kegerators and that. But then if you can't get that bottle filled, you wouldn't want to give up your bottle that's all nice and shiny and part of your setup. So I don't understand. I think it's just because it's not as common in this country for people to be doing it, it's much harder to get hold of. So I've got to try and find someone that does that. A lot of people say fire extinguisher companies, but I spoke to a few and they didn't seem to want to fill a bottle that they couldn't take away and retest every year, which you can kind of understand. But I just don't know how people do it in other countries. Someone, how do you do it over here? And the place I got mine from last time was only 20 quid for a big bottle of gas, but now they've changed it to 20 quid for the gas and a £50 non-refundable deposit. You own that bottle afterwards and you keep swapping it for the next one, so forth. I think that's pretty much it. So, happy homebrew Wednesday everyone. See you soon. I knew there was something else. I have to say, meeting up with Jonah, he's a great guy and everything. And it's one of the things that when you meet up with other people that homebrew, it really is a lot easier and better, and to be able to talk to people that know your hobby and don't get bored. I mean, everyone else I know don't homebrew, they drink sort of the macro lagers and whatnot. So by the time I sort of start going off on a wild one, they're kind of lost interest, they're bored, and they, half of them won't even try what I've made because they're too scared. They just want to, drink their Fosters or the kind of whatever. And that. But I have to say, meeting up with fellow homebrewers is one of the best things because you get to share your passion and your stories, and everyone else shares the same interests, and they don't sit there looking like you've bored them to death. So cheers Jonah, it was great to meet up and we have to do it again. See you soon.